My name is Ruben von Geisberg. I had corona last year. Back then I was on my way to Germany's top American football league, and now I can't even walk up the stairs.
Is there any chance of getting back?
This here is my only hope. I've been to 25 or 30 different doctors, and all the doctors could say was, they just don't know. Dr. Jäger was the only one who really said she could give us a chance at hoping things will get better.
So this building right here really doesn't look like much, but this is where people from all around the world are flying to get inside if they can, to try a new long COVID therapy, or a relatively new one. The question is, what is that therapy? And can we say anything about whether it actually works?
This is Dr. Beate Jäger. She runs a clinic that offers something called H.E.L.P apheresis. She's taking me up to the 6th floor, where patients are getting their blood washed to remove mini clots that resulted from a COVID-19 infection. According to the US CDC, over 1 billion people around the world will ultimately get some form of long COVID. Right now, there's no official treatment. What Dr. Jäger's doing is taking a proven vascular therapy and applying it to the disease.
It's separated here, the plasma from the rest of the blood. The plasma is then mixed with heparin, and here it's precipitated out.
I was just going to say, you can see right down there.
Das können Sie hier unten sehen, das Weißliche ist...
Exactly, you can see it down here, that white stuff. The white stuff is fibrinogen, which has to do with blood clotting. The yellow stuff is cholesterol, which transports carotene with it.
So, und dahinter ist dann
And back there, the heparin adsorber is engaged. It's removing all the cytokines and toxins.
alle Zytokine und Toxine. Und zum Schluss...
And finally, what we have here is bicarbonate dialysis that restores the pH levels so that the patient can get the cleansed blood pumped back in.
Auch hier, das Blut ist schön hell, aber wenn die Patienten das erste Mal...
You can see here, this is good. The blood is nice and light in color. But when the patients first come in and they have poor oxygen saturation in their blood, then the blood is almost black, like oil. And through the therapy, it'll then be enriched with oxygen.
So his blood actually changes color as a result of the apheresis therapy.
Yes, you can ask this patient, Ruben, about it. He knows what his blood looked like the first time. Now it's already better.
Yeah.
Und jetzt müssen wir halt daran arbeiten,
We just have to get more of these machines so that all of these young people who are suffering can get help.
Hilfe kriegen.
The problem is these machines are not being made anymore. There are about 12 clinics in Germany that offer H.E.L.P apheresis and almost nowhere else in the world. That's led to a huge backlog at Dr. Jäger's office with thousands of desperate COVID patients on the waiting list.
Die Patienten kommen aus der ganzen Welt, also Kanada, USA, England, Skandinavien, Frankreich, Spanien.
Patients are coming here from all over the world: Canada, the US, England, Scandinavia, France, Spain, Czechia, Russia, India, everywhere. Why are they coming here? Because they can get the H.E.L.P apheresis treatment here. The machines are here. It's a German invention. We've been doing this for 40 years. And when I saw the pathological reports back in March 2020 about vascular inflammation, I thought apheresis has to be able to help COVID patients as well.
Und habe dann gedacht, das müsste Covid-Patienten auch helfen.
We're on our way to meet one of the many, many people who've flown to Mülheim to get their blood tested for microclots or hyperactivated platelets. Those two tests, by the way, cost about 500 euros, and combined with the therapy, cost a total of about 2,000 euros. James Cox flew in all the way from Bermuda. He's part of the online long COVID community, and this story actually began with this tweet. where he described how he traveled 4,000 miles to get tested for microclots to test the theory that this is what is causing his long COVID symptoms. Those blood tests came back positive.
So, I am James. I'm 31 years old and I've been suffering from long COVID for about 18 months now. Long COVID is, quite frankly, completely uprooted and changed my life in every way possible. I struggle with a range of symptoms that undulate on a day-to-day basis, which have completely limited my life. I'm unable to work, I'm unable to exercise or participate in society in any normal way like I used to. I've been around the world to doctors in the US and the UK and even at home in Bermuda, and no one's really been able to provide me with any sort of clear cause or reason or treatment that may or may not help. And it seemed to me that the clinic here that I've been to actually offered me that. And in sort of desperation to try and find some relief from this agonizing journey that I've been on, I came here.
We've been talking at this point about long COVID affecting you explicitly, personally, but what has it done for your family, your friends?
I've basically lost my job. I recently got married 6 months before I caught long COVID. It's completely impacted my marital life. It's impacted my parents. They've had to travel around the world and support me through my journey to try and find relief. It's impacted my friends. It's impacted every aspect of my life beyond just my health. I don't exist as the fit 31-year-old man that I was before. Now I need care and help at all times, really.
You have had 2 apheresis treatments up to this point. What have they done for you, and what do you hope that they will do for you?
I mean, so far I haven't noticed much of a difference. I would say, though, I've had my second one yesterday morning, so it's probably too early to tell. But my hope is that I will find some ounce of relief. Whether or not it's going to be the game changer and it's going to help me return to work and return to being the husband that I want to be, the friend that I want to be, the son that I want to be, I don't know. But even if it helps me 10%, it's going to make the world of difference in my current existence right now. So yeah, the bar perhaps isn't that high, but I'm desperate for any form of relief right now.
Here are the actual platelet cells, and here you can see some of them are clumping together.
So does H.E.L.P apheresis actually treat some of the symptoms that people with long COVID are facing, like these clumpy platelets? The answer is we don't know yet. Working on that research now are Dr. Jäger herself, the Max Planck Institute for Physics, and a lung doctor named Asad Khan, who told us more from India.
So in the context of long COVID, all we have so far is anecdotal evidence. What I can say is that the vast majority of patients do experience an improvement in their symptoms. It's not a magic cure, and there isn't any magic cure, but what has been noticed is that those patients who get treated early seem to do better, which is why early treatment is key.
As I understand it, you've done 7 or 8 of these treatments yourselves. One question I have, because you have done so many of them, is did the microclotting come back? Does it kind of wax and wane depending on how often, or how recently rather, you've had an apheresis treatment?
So I've actually had more than that. I've had 15 cycles of H.E.L.P apheresis and 6 of plasmapheresis, and that's unusual. Not many people will have that many cycles. It would be unusual for it to, shall we say, remain at bay after 1 or 2 treatments. So it does require a few more than that. But people vary in their response. I mean, there are people who have had really good clearance with 5 or 6 treatments. There are people who have not had such good results, and that seems to correspond with their symptoms as well.
Would you say that you're possibly biased on this one because you are hoping for a particular outcome, or is the outcome of this data really irrelevant to you? Or
so what I would say is, let me bring it back to my own experience, where I had significant benefit from H.E.L.P apheresis. Certainly the first 7 or 8 cycles made a huge difference. I was on the verge of death when I got to Germany, and certainly got a lot better. But then from December onwards, I've actually had a number of reinfections, and I have plateaued, and I am still symptomatic despite further cycles of H.E.L.P apheresis. So I've had both kinds of experiences, and now I'm searching for other treatments. So I would say I've got quite a balanced, fair view of this, if you know what I mean. As somebody who's involved in the research, what I can say is that our job is to report findings as they come up. The science speaks for itself. People can make their own conclusions from it, but when you have objective endpoints, and particularly if you can demonstrate significant changes, then those speak for themselves. That doesn't have to be enhanced, if you know what I mean. Yeah.
We are going to end this story with somebody who decided not to get H.E.L.P apheresis treatment. Binita Kane made that decision not for herself, but on behalf of her daughter Jasmin, because there just isn't enough data.
The challenge is that because it's not being done in a research setting, we are relying on anecdotes. I think like all treatments, there will probably be people it works in and probably people it doesn't work in. And what we need is to understand why it works in some people and not others. And that really requires a huge research effort. So I think the jury's out for me. I don't know is the answer, but I do know some people have been really helped by it and others haven't.
For the other parents out there whose children are suffering from long COVID, what would be your message to them at this point, where you are?
My message to other parents of children with long COVID is believe your kids when they say they're not well. Don't let healthcare professionals dismiss the symptoms as anxiety. You know your child, and you know if there's something wrong with your child. You are the expert in your child. And there's a lot of parents I know who are being told that everything's normal, this must be mental health. I wouldn't accept that, and I would keep searching for the answers. Not saying mental health doesn't play a role, absolutely it can do, but I don't believe it's the root cause of most of these children's problems. And I think that's really, really important, because we are hearing a lot of stories about people being dismissed and being told that all the symptoms are anxiety related, when we know that that is not the case. And hang in there. Things will get better. I'm sure of it. It's just going to take some time.
So I've spoken to maybe a dozen patients at this point who've had H.E.L.P apheresis treatment. Is it a miracle cure? It certainly is not. There's some patients who said, yes, it made them feel better. Others said, it did nothing for me at all. And even Dr. Jäger herself has said that this is one piece of the puzzle. It is not the thing that's going to fix long COVID for everyone. That said, there's potential, and we're waiting for the research to come in to show us exactly what H.E.L.P apheresis can do or can't do for people who are suffering from long COVID.